The Oromo Liberation Army has welcomed the call for reconciliation by the president of the Oromia regional state, Mr. Shimallis Abdiissa, with joy but caution. OLF international spokesman Oda Tarbai responded exclusively to the BBC in response to President Shimallis' comments to the Cafe of Oromia, saying the call was a good step. In a statement, the WBO said similar calls had been made before, but nothing had been found to lead to reconciliation. We do not believe that there is an independent local body to sit for peace talks, and even if there is, we do not believe that it will conduct the reconciliation talks free from government pressure, he said in a statement. OLF commanders and participants said logistics and a center are needed to enter and leave the military zone to hold meaningful talks. Independent international institutions are needed to provide logistics and guarantee security, he said. He added that the call should be presented in a dilemma manner and international observers should participate in it. He added that the discussions should be held with the federal government and not at the level of the state government. The fourth session of the Cafe of the Oromia regional state on Wednesday, January 17, 2023, called for a reconciliation between the OLF and the Shane. The armed struggle of the OLF and Orissa turned to war with the government soon after the stability in the country after the arrival of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in power. Over the past 4 years, few regions of Oromia have survived peacefully. In the meantime, the people and the government security structures have paid great sacrifices, he said. It's a good step and we are happy with the call, Tarbai said, recalling the past, and we will watch this process very carefully. It is good to enter into negotiations, it is good to find a peaceful solution, but the way we enter needs to be considered. It's not a good idea. The previous agreement between the Ethiopian government and the OLF failed because it was held in the absence of a third party, Oda said. A third party is needed to prevent this problem from happening again, he said, reiterating that there are conditions for dialogue and the reconciliation process. He added that Mr. Shimallis' comments came at a time when the war between the two sides is still going on and that confidence-building measures should be taken in connection with the 4-year war. Work needs to be done to build and develop trust between us. He said the release of thousands of political prisoners and the opening of closed offices of political parties were among the conditions for the talks. These conditions also helped to build trust, he said. There have been proposals for peace talks from both sides to end the war that has spread to various parts of Oromia and disrupted social activities, infrastructure, and killed many people. So far, however, no promising steps have been taken. This raises the question of whether the two sides are really ready for peace talks. The people and the government structures have been tortured, he said in an interview aired on national media 10 days ago. Enough of us, he said, adding that the government had nothing more priority than finding a solution to the problem. OLF spokesman Oda asked the BBC, "Are you really committed to peace talks?" He asked the scientist. "We have been making statements that dialogue is better and reconciliation is better. We are always ready to enter it to get the people out of the problems and create peace in the country," he replied. Before the speech, MPs representing the troubled regions of Oromia had started moving for a peaceful solution to the problem. In addition, following the peaceful end of the 2-year war in northern Ethiopia, which caused great damage, there were various movements to ensure that Oromia received similar attention. OLF spokesman Oda Tarbai, however, said the rumors in the media so far are contrary to the facts on the ground. Although the talks are expected to start later, he said they want an independent third party to be involved. Previously, the government had reflected the position that a third party was not necessary. Asked what the fate of the reconciliation talks would be if there was no third party, Otis said, "We don't want to regret it as before. We will not repeat that mistake because we know what the loss of a third party has done to our people. This is a mandatory negotiating criterion." Another of the conditions they set for the talks was an immediate and unconditional ceasefire and an end to the military campaign. If the three conditions are met, the reconciliation process will be fair, Otis said.